My uncle came over the other day and we were talking about things that make me mad. And I was talking about how I cannot stand when people are in toxic relationships and don't just get out. Because it's so simple. Like, yes, the emotions make it complicated, but the actual act of leaving someone toxic is that simple. Leave the person that's toxic. Get out of the toxic relationship. The only thing that makes it difficult is the emotions, the love, loving someone, caring about that person, blah, blah, blah. But if you just push that to a side for a second and leave the toxic relationship, then it's over. It's done. You'll miss them, but you'll be free. You won't be in the toxic relationship anymore. So we were talking about that, and I was getting like literally angry as I was thinking about it. And he's like, well, you need to process like where that comes from. Like, anger comes from somewhere in your childhood. And I'm like, I know that. Like, I always know that. That's what I always say. That's why I've healed so much, because I always look back and I find the core issue. But I never stopped to look at this core issue. I was just like, you're just being dumb. Like, you're in a toxic relationship. Get out. It's simply what you're supposed to do. And then he said that. And I was defensive. And then I was like, ooh, defensive. That means there's an emotion. And then it hit me. My parents were in a toxic relationship. I had to take on my parents' emotional well-being. As an adult, their financial well-being. I mediated their divorce because they just cannot communicate with one another. I was always in the middle of all of their arguments. I had to learn to take care of myself because it didn't feel safe. They didn't make me feel safe, so I had to make myself feel safe. So many things that came from them being in a toxic relationship and just not simply getting a divorce. How many times did I tell them to get a divorce and they wouldn't get a divorce? Because they so-called love each other. Yet now they haven't talked in 3 years. Because they never really loved each other. They were just accustomed to one another. And just what it was. My dad came home from work, they'd argue. Every single day, same exact thing. Over the exact same things. Over the dumbest shit. And it's just so interesting that I never caught that. It was like right there. You know what I mean? It was like so basic. And obviously your parents were in a toxic relationship, so you can't stand when other people are in toxic relationships and don't just leave, because you know how much better both of their lives will be. And you also know if there's a third party involved, like a child or whatever, that their life would be better to not be involved in that toxicity. But I didn't catch it. And it almost made me mad that I didn't catch it. Because like, hello, it's so right there. And it's happening now with my friends when my friends are in relationships where I'm looking at them and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know so much better. And I actually get mad to the point where I'm like, I don't even want you around in my life while you're in this relationship, because you're just being dumb. You're dumb. And then you come to me with pregnancy scares and I'm like, you're double dumb, because now you're risking ruining, or not ruining, but making a child's life complicated because you don't have the balls to get the help that you need, or because you don't have the balls to actually leave the person. And that's so unfair. So I got my Akashic records read. And what I mean, it's unfair from me, not what they're doing. Well, what they're doing to the possible child would also be unfair. But on my part, it's unfair not being a good friend. So I got my Akashic records read, and she was talking about how, like, most people she told me a lot of things, but pretty much, like, there's a pencil. Most people have a hand in front of the pencil. I see the pencil and I'm like, hello, there's a pencil. Move your fucking hand. The hand is attached to you. You're the one with the power to move the hand to see the pencil. But most people are stuck like this and they don't even see this part. They only see from here the hand and the pencil, and they're like, I can't, there's no pencil, I can't move the hand. Whole time I'm seeing that the hand is attached to their arm, that's attached to their body, which means that they can move the hand out of the way and the pencil's on the other side. So she's like, you're the one seeing the pencil and you're getting mad because they won't move the hand that they have the full power of moving the hand for. And it was such an interesting perspective for her to put it that way, because then that threw me in that whirlwind. And then he said that same day and I was like, oh my God, all this makes so much sense. She was like, you have to let people go through what they need to go through, learn the lesson on their own. You can't just tell them to do something and then be mad at them when they don't do it, because then they're going to be pushing away from you and then they'll be even more stuck in that situation. And it's like so frustrating, because I'm not a patient person. That's why I have patience tattooed on me, because I try and remind myself to be patient. And with these two friends specifically, I already see the outcome. Like, the moment that they introduce me to this person and I read that person's energy, or that they start telling me certain little things that bother them about that person, I'm like, you don't want to be with this person. You don't. Nothing about you wants to be with this person. So why are you with this person? And it's a lot easier for me because I simply don't date. Which obviously also comes from my parents being in a very toxic relationship. But I don't have the room for it. I have too much that I want to accomplish in my life to ever be held back by someone. And yeah, you can find someone who doesn't want to hold you back and wants to grow with you, but I don't want to put in the time or the effort to find that person. I don't. Right now in my life, I want to fully, let me just grab my dog so he doesn't start barking in the middle of this video and then I have to edit it because I don't want to edit it. Stay. I simply don't want to do that. I want to put all of my energy and my time. If I have extra time, I'm hanging out with him. We're going on an extra long WALKIES, you know. If I have extra time, we're going to go on a CAR ride. Like, that's what I'm going to do with my extra time, is love him, because I have him right now. And his life is shorter than mine, so I'm going to give him the best life possible. I'm not going to spend my time looking for someone that might take time from something that I would rather put my time in. And I think that's why I'm that way, because I know how bad it can be. And then once emotions like loving someone gets involved, it makes it 10 times harder to leave a bad relationship. And sometimes people don't show you their true colors. I am 100% who I am from the beginning to the end. I tell you all my issues at the beginning. You know what's involved. You're either going to deal with it or you're not going to deal with it. That's cool. You know, I don't give room for people to come into a fake scenario just for them to then find out I'm someone different. Why would I do that? I'd rather tell you the person I am from my shittiest mistakes I've ever made that I had to learn from to the best things about me. And you decide. But don't make me find out halfway through a relationship 7 years later that you're actually a super shitty person. And I've now wasted 7 years of my life, which, yeah, you can look at it as not wasted, because it can also be you like went through some beautiful things with this partner and had this beautiful life. But I don't want it. I don't want it. So then when I see my friends who are so much, like, I really only surround myself with people that I genuinely admire and look up to and just see this amazing, strong individual. So when I see someone like that being around someone who's so not, it infuriated me. And now I know where it came from, so I can work on it. I'm not sure how yet, because it's a brand new thought that I just had. Epiphany that I just had. But it is a very interesting thing how much sometimes are like real, like the things that were so constant and really shaped who we are sometimes the hardest for us to see. Even for someone who reads so many self-help books and has been in therapy for 7 years and does all this work, like, I still miss the most obvious things that I need to work on. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm putting this out there because I wonder how many other people feel the same way about their friends and then are going to realize, holy shit, it was so obvious why I felt this way and why I felt so strongly about it this entire time. And I never caught it.